Well, better turn that down, mute that. Okay, we're welcome to our weekly net on RTV. We've got a few check-ins tonight, which is good. Still got a few people I haven't heard from, which I was hoping to hear from, but that's okay. Yeah, and quite a few viewers as well. We are streaming live on Discord. That's working, no problems. So we're all good to go. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of switching. We're going to try and see how it goes, alternating from RTV1 to RTV2 tonight as much as possible. So everyone who's switching frequencies, switching channels, we'll try and make sure that we leave a bit of a pause for everyone to be able to do that, and particularly for Ian and myself who are flicking while we're doing our recording and streaming. So we'll see how that goes. That gives everyone an opportunity to actually come up on the screen. So I haven't called out an order yet, so on that note, what I'm thinking is if we can have Mick come up on RTV2 first, straight after me. So Mick, if you want to start coming up on RTV2 now, and just wait until I give the go-ahead to go ahead. After Mick, I'd like to see Peter come up on RTV1. So if he can. And then we can come up with Ian back on RTV2. Then we've got Tony, who's going to give it a go, but he's not sure if the audio is working 100%, so we'll hopefully see him on RTV1 as our fourth. And then at that stage then I'll probably take it back on RTV1, and we'll see if there's any more second rounds. So Mick, VK3CH, if you can come up on RTV2, and then once you're up on there, I'll give the word and everyone can flick across. So hopefully tonight goes smoothly. I'm not seeing Mick yet, so hopefully he's not too far away. I might just give him a call just in case he's not listening. VK3CH, VK3VRS, are you right to go, Mick?
Yeah, we're starting, are we?
We sure are.
RTV1, Mick. Who's on RTV1? Yeah, but if you can come up, start transmitting and wait for a cue to start. Okay, don't really have a lot of hands.
Just luckily we've got radio to back us up. So all good, Mick. So if you can come up, and I see everyone, Mick's coming up. Yep. So give us 2 secs, Mick, and everyone will flick over.
That should be louder. Yeah, that's alright. Just adjusting controls here. Yeah, g'day. What have we done since last week? Waiting for things to arrive in the mail. Seems to be the main thing we're up to.
Roll Mick on RTV2.
Yeah, I can see it. What was I going to say? Yeah, waiting for stuff to turn up in the post. That's why we're still doing an analogue production. For those of you that might remember last week, I had a little device. Hang on, I'll lower this volume. Had a little device that put the stuff from the output of the computer HDMI back to HDMI so I could look at it on the monitor up here. But it also picked out the composite video and feeds that into the SR systems, which eventually died after just one day. So I posted that back to a mob. They're up in Sydney. They say that they've put their thing in the post today. They've given me a tracking number, but it says your item hasn't been scanned yet, so we'll wait. We've got a couple more webcams on order. They actually went between Sunshine West Mail Exchange and Bayswater Mail Exchange 6 times over nearly 3 weeks. Don't ask me why. But now they're in my local post office about a kilometre away from this house awaiting collection, so I'll grab them tomorrow. I've also ordered a green screen cloth, also from Sydney, I think Villawood, suburb in Sydney. So that was only just done today, so yeah, depending on how busy the post is. I suppose a few days if you're lucky and a few weeks if you're not. So I'll have to work out some sort of, system to hang it. And as you can see, we've got this, and then we've got that. In other words, a curve. So whether I'm going to have shadow problems, what I might do is where this webcam is that I'm not using, I just point that right behind me and just have the wall behind me and just have it close. I don't know, until it arrives and until you do it and muck around, I don't know. That's probably about all my news, really. What else can I think of? No, that's, yeah, just waiting on things to turn up in the post. It keeps us slow. Ian, once again I dropped all the emails, they just disappeared. So I don't have your proper email address. I found one, I sent the link of the newsletter I scribble. I don't know whether you got that or not. Otherwise you could just send me an email, just a blank thing, and I can just capture your email address and send it to you again.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, okay, cool. No worries. Yeah, that's about all I've got for tonight. Probably no point calling you back in again. I did ask John, ATV, what he was using for a titler, because I did find quite a lot on the internet, but they're very sneaky. Oh, it's free. So, you invent something. Oh, if you want to download it in high definition, send lots of US dollars or euros to this address, and it's like, oh, they only tell you after you've played with it. So, and even this one here, it wants money, but it looks pretty good. But, oh well, we'll see. Another thing to learn. I did actually find a copy of Adobe After Effects, but version 5, back in 2001 that I have, a legit copy, but it doesn't do all the fancy stuff that today's stuff does. So I looked on some YouTube videos and they're all using a latter version, and they're saying, oh, now click this and key and click that. I look on my version like, huh? None of this stuff. It's like really cut back. So obviously in the last 20 years there's been a few advances made in software, eh? Who'd have thought? Alright, enough from me. Not sure who's next. Oh, I think Ian's next. So yeah, I'll put it over to you, VK3CH. Cheers all, till next week, and hopefully if things turn up in the post, we might have more news for you. Catch us later.
Okay, I think we're there, and I hope we've got audio. Just double check that. Yeah, things are
It's all good, Peter.
going up and down there, I can see. Well, it's been pretty cold and wet over the last week, that's for sure. And unfortunately our fault has reoccurred where we have to do the reset every now and then. So I'm not sure what's happening there. I think the situation there will be when it happens again and it's convenient, I'll leave it off and then get up there and see if I can see the source. I do have one more fix. I can reuse a socket that's on the controller that's unused and make it a watchdog. And a watchdog is something that needs to be reset by the controller periodically, and if that doesn't happen, it then resets the controller itself. So it's an automatic reset scenario. So I may have to try that one. I am available to go up to Malpi tomorrow and put in some DVB-T receivers if there's going to be anyone around to do the testing. I gave Rob 3IE a few calls this afternoon, but he was not available, so I'm not sure what's happening there. Anyway, I have been doing some building over the last little while, so I thought I'd show you a couple of things that are I've been working on. So just stand by. I'm going to change camera. Last week, it reminds me, I tried to demonstrate the signal report system, and it is now working. What had happened there was the serial port IC was down. Most unusual. They're usually very reliable ICs these days, but this one went down and replaced it, and it's all back and running. The DTMF system is the 4 digits, where the star is the first digit, and the star, when the controller gets a star, that sends an interrupt to the PIC-X40X2, and the interrupt service routine is servicing the DTMF codes. So it then immediately pulls in the first digit, and then pulls in the second digit into memory, and then the hash loads it across to the DTMF decoder. So that's why there's star and then 2 digits and a hash. The star is the interrupt to the controller, and then the 2 digits that come next are simply loaded into memory, and then the hash, the processor knows to load that across to the ports where the DTMF decoder is sitting on. So that's how. Oh, don't do that. That's not a good thing. Oh dear. Oh well, we have to mute that up pretty quick. I have RTV2 running, and I have to be very careful about audio feedback. So I'm not sure who did that, but it was well-meaning, I'm sure. Anyway, I'll go to the HC camera, and I'll show you a couple of things that I've been working on. So just stand by for a sec. Okay, what's up now? And I think we've got audio. We should, yes, I can see that that's thumping away. Okay. This little thing here, you can see by the size of my hand how big it is. That's the Minikit's new 2.5 watt 23 centimetre amplifier. It does require a fan, and I'm waiting on some 2.5 millimetre taps to just tap the holes that are in the heatsink there. It puts out 2.5 watts saturated, so I would expect that for ATV it would be good for a watt at least. So we'll see how that goes when I get the taps. We'll fire it up, and we might give you some demonstrations on the spec end to show you where it saturates. So it's a very interesting little device, given that it's so small. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. Usually with Minikit stuff, it's pretty good. The only very, very small IC is the regulator that's on there, but even that's not that hard to deal with. Now over here, let's get the camera on the next bit and find it. There they are. This is the start of a have we got it? Yeah, we have. This is the start of a splitter for 23 centimetres. In this case, it will be the reverse of a splitter. It's an adder, and it's 2 quarter wave lines to transpose 2 50 ohm sources into one 50 ohm source. And the way I do that is with little bits of hobby brass, which is very easy to to keep the dimensions okay and accurate. Let's get this across, there we are. And then it sits on a PCB and inside an enclosure, and the end connector there is exposed to the outside world, and that's where the cable will go. So that's a part of the receive system, or a receive system. And down below here, I'll probably just zoom back a bit on this one. Where are we? Yeah. Come back. Here is the start of panel number 4. We have currently 3 panels up, and you can see there's the bottom quad, and then top quad is yet to be made. The assembly is made from electrical switchboards, boxes, which I've had for quite some time. They are UV resistant. They're designed to be outside, so they've survived very well up at Mount View, and they're mounted on just an aluminium frame, which is just out of normal aluminium extrusion. And there's the top there. You can see where there's a couple of holes where the mounting system will be on that eventually. So the coupler that I'm building there is for this, and this is for the southwest direction for RTV, and we'll bring in Geelong, which is very good. There's a time scale that's fairly long on this one, because there won't be any work done on the tower during the winter. It'll be most likely in the spring or summer by the time that goes up. But I'm just building that as a as a winter thing, and it'll be ready for people to put it up sometime in the future. So we might come back on the switcher and just come back personally. Hopefully we've got sound on here. We do. So that's what I've been up to over the last week. I would expect perhaps another week we'll finish the quads there, and they'll just be put aside ready for when we're going to install them. So I'm not quite sure who is next. It may be Ian, I suspect, 3QL.
Ian.
Right, thanks there, Richard. And I think it was Ian that was rebroadcasting me by the looks of it. I've got the mute on now, Ian. So just be aware that I often run RTV2 with open.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. It's amateur TV after all. But I usually run RTV with open mic, so to speak, because I don't transmit through it usually. So, yeah. Anyway, this is VK3VRS in very sunny Montana South today, but very cold. And over to you there, Ian.
So welcome to my private jet that I've decided to transmit from this evening, and that's great work on the panel there, Peter. Yeah, it's a winter project. I like it, and do like the splitter or the combiner, I suppose. I don't know. It looks great work, very fine work. I had problems I reported problems that I was having getting signal report up, but I found the problem, Peter, if you're still listening, and I wasn't putting out audio, so it's a trap for young players, that one. DTMF signals have to actually reach the repeater for it to work, so something I have to keep an eye on. I seem to have monitoring everywhere, but sometimes I miss something. The streaming to the BATC site today, and it was all working fine this afternoon. I have no reason to believe that it's not still going, so it's great work for all those involved, and so I'll just double check that. And while I'm on the subject, I can, with some audio, let you know that I've got the YouTube stream running, and as I mentioned, the BATC stream is alive and well, so that's all good. And Clint will be up on RTV1 later in the month, so that's later in the week, so that's all good. All right, flashing back to me on the jet. Very good reception. The link back to ground is great. There's no breakup, so it's just magic. It's all done on 5G. So the other thing is Discord's running, and I can actually show that live, as it were, if I can find the appropriate. There we have it, up in the top right hand corner on an iPhone. It is available on all sorts of platforms, but I'm just showing it on the iPhone. And if we go down and we can see who's logged in, which is Richard and myself. And while I'm on the subject, I can report that Wayne, VK3GMV, is on YouTube, so you can add that to the list, Richard. And he's in Shepparton, so he's watching on YouTube, which is about the only way you could see it, apart from the BATC stream. All right, now and Discord. Thanks, Richard. And I actually there was a bit of gossip I picked up yesterday, or not gossip, it's actually factual. Ross, VK3MY, at the toy shop, he mentioned to me that he's retiring at the end of the year. So that's 30 years of service to the local amateur community. So I wish Ross all the best. That's his plans. Obviously plans can change, but that's the current thinking, and he's pretty keen to stick to that plan. So that's the story there. Oh yes, a mug of tea would be good. I'll have the J Walker blue with soda on the side. Thanks. Yeah. Flight service is very good today. All right, I might run the first bit of or the first segment, which is from Rob, M0DTS. Rob's got a portable setup in his van. He's got a new van, and he's been modifying it for the summer. Summer in northern England is a bit different than summer in Australia, but anyway, it's a bit cooler. And he operates the QO100 satellite from his van. And participates in the BATC net, so this is actually not a segment, it's a video that he did standalone. It's in Durham country, 750 metres above sea level, and he's got dual ports down system. But I'll let Rob talk about it. I won't say any more, and so we might just roll with Rob. and his portable setup.
This is the portable QR100 receives and transmit setup. Got the ports down here, which I'm using purely for receive at the moment. It's receiving GW4KZ via the satellite. I've got the second box here, which is still a work in progress, but that displays the spectrum from the transponder. So you can see there, that's the 1 mega symbol, or is it 1 or 1.5 meg bandwidth beacon signal, and that is Brian's signal there, right at the top, who we're watching here. So I've got them split off so you can have both at the same time. Really handy for that. I've got the laptop running OBS with a couple of camera inputs and F1 EJP software to do the encoding using the processor on the laptop. There's a bundle of things in the background. There's a Pluto and lots of USB cables. That is basically the transmitter. And then the amplifier is this unit here, which is one of the one of the first amps that came from Poland, with the 2 times 160 watt device in. But we run it at about 40 watts to the dish. Using that USB mic there, which seems to work quite well. And then there's the camera up at the top there for the inside the van, what we've got. And then outside I've got some sockets up the top here for HDMI out, so that's 10 meters of HDMI lead to the camcorder on the tripod there, which looks a bit out of tilt. Here's the location tonight, so up at Stang Top in County Durham. Lovely view. And there's the dish on top of the van, on the motorised mount. That's a 1 metre prime focus dish with the dual band 10 gigs and 2.4 gigs feed, and that works really well. Very simple setup. So there you have it, M0DTS portable.
Yes. Thank you. It's, tea, iced tea. It's got ice in it. Very nice. Fortifying. All right. I might just roll on to the quiz. Haven't had a quiz for a while, so here's a quiz.
For live news on the planets, cosmology, sunspots and more, every Friday at 10 p.m. Clint VK3CSJ presents the Astronomical Society of Victoria broadcast, amateur television repeater, VK3RTV Channel 1.
Oh, sorry about that. Very nice tea, that nice blend. Yes, where was I? Oh yes, that was the, and that's ASV News and the website for seeing that. Oh, that's Clint's actually. I must have got this around the wrong way. That's the ASV Radio website. If you click on with your mobile phone, the QR code should take you there. And that's Clint, which has recordings of his past shows on YouTube. So do look them up if you're interested in astrology, astronomy, I should say. That's a bit too much tea, I think. Yes. So I'll hand it over to you, Tony. I'll finish. I'm getting my words all mixed up. It's too strong, that tea. Tony, I'll hand over to you, but I'll run this outro, and which has got the list of ATV stations, and I'll switch off or complete on showing the what do they call those things? The test car. I'll get there eventually. Now
Yeah, I think it was what was in the tea. Have I got audio? Hello? Any audio there, Richard?
Yes, you have.
Okay. All right. I had to play with it a bit the other day. I don't like looking at myself on TV. As usual, I really haven't got much to add. I think it was what's in the tea more to the point, Ian. Haven't really been doing much radio-wise, as pretty much usual, actually. Been mucking around with other things, and yeah, so I ended up buying myself a car, so I've been playing around with that. 3 weeks to book in for a roadworthy. You wouldn't believe it. But anyway, 3 weeks. What else? The audio seems to be working all right, but I don't know. I still haven't mucked around with that mono stereo setting. I can't find that, Richard, so you'll have to talk me through that at one stage or another. Still, as surprise, still haven't heard about anything from the line. Still using Richard's line. What else? I did get that link you sent me, Richard. Sorry for not responding. So I'll suss that mic out and see if that's any better than what I'm currently using. Picture doesn't look too bad, I don't think, from what I can see. I'll try not to look at myself. That's pretty much it. Been a bit slack. Haven't been on for a while, I'm guessing. I haven't really played much. Missed last week. I missed Friday night's broadcast. I missed Saturday's broadcast. Just been working and more work, and that's pretty much it for me. Yeah, so anyway, it's nice and sunny over here as well, Peter, just for the record, and cold. I think it's currently, I thought I can read that, 8 degrees outside. But anyway, it's all good. It is winter, so we can't really complain, I guess. All right, that's pretty much it from me. as usual, haven't really got much to say. All right, I'll hand it back over. Who am I going to? Richard, back over to you, or a bit of a delay there?
To me.
Okay, back over to you, Richard. Hello, everybody, and goodbye, everybody.
Well done. Well, I've been flying around space trying to find Ian. No wonder why I can't find him. He's ended up back on Earth in his private jet, of course. Where else would he be? So I'll endeavour to try and catch up with you again, Ian. Maybe I'll have to bring my spaceship back to Earth, many light years away. So we'll have to see. Hopefully I don't go through any more of that radiation that I went through last week. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Yeah, good work, Peter. It'd be good to see if we can actually get some people from Geelong Way on the repeater. I did have a look at the path, and it actually in certain parts of Geelong, and pretty much most of Geelong, they should be able to get into the repeater quite well. So not sure how they'll go with power wise, but yeah, you might have solved that already too with the mini kit's little amp. I'm very interested to see how that goes. I'm currently maxing out my mini circuits, and I'm putting out a whole 400 milliwatts, so I can't even get half a watt at the moment, unless I power up the big amp, which makes it too noisy. I've got enough fan noise in here with 3 computers running, so yeah, I'm not transmitting much on RTV2 because of that amp being so noisy, unless I can come up with some sort of solution to quieten it down somehow. I have been a little bit busy, and I've noticed your absence, Tony. I've been trying to call you, been texting you. I think I even rang at one stage, but yeah, you've obviously been very busy. I was worried for a minute there that you'd fallen off the tree, off the perch. So I'm glad to see that you haven't. And yep, your vision was good. Your audio was quite good. After this broadcast, after this net, we'll sort out your audio. The little checkbox that you have to do is quite easy. It's just to get into the right spot and check the box. So that shouldn't be too hard. Just to show you what I've been up to. Now, forgive the camera. It's very low resolution. But let's just move over to it now and see what I'm actually transmitting on now. Got audio? Yep, audio. Okay, so as you can see, I've actually finally mounted things in a box. So just here you can see my Line Mini, which is actually running because you can see the LED going. So this part here, the USB comes in. That's a USB double-ended adapter. Thank you, Tony, for cutting that hole. USB then just sits there. This is the output, obviously, the TX of the Lime, straight through into the mini circuit's little amp, which is mounted out to here, and then out on this antenna socket here. This is actually a receive antenna, which when I start playing around doing a few little experiments, I might see what I can do with that. The only things that I've got to add to this now is I've got to put the LEDs in. So I'm going to have one here to tell me that I've got 12 volt power, one here to tell me that I'm actually powered up this module, and it's on, so I know not to leave it on. and then another LED here, which is basically just an extension of the Lime Minis LED here, basically just to the outside of the case. The other things that I did think of adding is maybe just a small little relay and a socket maybe here to plug in for this amp here to power it up. I'm actually thinking of putting this in the roof in a sealed box with ventilation so it gets plenty of airflow. Probably from the behind me, this wall behind me there is actually a walk-in robe, so I might mount it in the vent it into that airspace in there, and then that way I won't hear all the noise in here. But it'll be so I can switch that on and off remotely. So I'll maybe add another switch here to switch the power amp on, or maybe just wire it into this circuit here so that can power on an external amplifier if I need be. So that's basically what I've been up to today. Well, not today, in recent times. Now, we were talking before about Discord. So here's Discord here, as you can see. I'm streaming, and when you highlight that, basically all you have to do is double click on the live button and you can actually watch Discord as well. Discord's a lot faster than YouTube. The latency is very, very quick. Not much behind watching the actual repeater live. And you can see Ian there and myself as well. So my two separate computers which I use for running this. You can see down here I can actually watch what's going on as well and still be involved in the chat. So yeah, I just want to acknowledge, thanks Mick. Please, if anyone else has a second go, please come back to me first of all on the RMC repeater if there's anybody who would like to have a second. We've got Clint, so I'll just, speaking to the devil.
Did you know that a video edition of the WIA news broadcast is screened here, VK3RTV Channel 1 by Clint VK3CSJ, every Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m., repeated Sunday evening at 8 p.m.
Right. Yep. So we've got Clint who's come up, and he's
on 400 too, by the way.
Oh, were you on 400? Okay. That's too many radios as well. We all suffer the same problem. Yep. So Clint, what I'll do is I'll let you have a go. If there's anybody else, even while Clint's on, please let me know, and we can put you on. So I'm going to have to drop off so Clint can jump on because he will stay here on RTV1. Alright, I'll drop off and let you have a go, Clint.
Oh, good. 1, 2. Oh, where am I hearing myself? Yep, okay. I was hearing a little bit of feedback in the shack here. It was coming through the PC speaker. Good evening, everybody. As Benny Hall once said. Yeah, g'day everyone. Howdy doody. Trust everybody is okay. Alright, that's it. We'll see you all next week. No, I'm still waiting for my HD boards to arrive. They're still sitting in Germany. I don't know what it is about this post. I had to laugh, Mick, when you said that your parcel you'd been waiting for it bounced back and forth between two locations about, what was it, 4 or 5, 6 times? Something's wrong, really wrong with that. And this these two HD boards, according to the tracker, DHL have supplied a Australian Post tracker. So once they leave Germany and they're in flight and I guess arrive in Australia, then I'll know where they are. But they're still in Frankfurt or someplace getting ready to take flight. I mean, once they're in the air, they're basically at the door here. It's only going to be 24 hours, maybe 48 hours, and I'll have them. But for some strange reason, they're just sitting at Germany airport waiting to be thrown onto an aircraft. I don't know. I don't get it. So I just have to wait hopefully another week or so before I can get back to some HD. Anyway, just show you some equipment that I managed to acquire lately. I'll just run through the pictures quickly, but I went for a 4-hour, or 8 hours in total, but I went for a 4-hour journey up to Tangbang Belanga, I think that's how you pronounce it, to Brenton VK3 Charlie Mike. He's got a property up there, and he's got a very big shed, and within that shed is lots of radios. Anyway, he often has stuff up for sale on VK Ham and Facebook, on the ham ads on Facebook. And a while ago, I've got this Collins bent. I've always liked the look of the old valve Collins equipment, but it just seems that in these recent times I've acquired a little bit of Collins stuff. It's a bit like the HP of transceivers or radio equipment, but using valves. No, the Collins has got a name for itself, and I think to this day it still holds up pretty well. And fortunately, I managed to get a hold of. It was a last-minute decision, but I got a hold of some Collins equipment from Brenton this on Sunday. I didn't get back home until about 10 o'clock. I had Bob, VK3AZN, with me. Bob had his remote station running off the lap in the car. Worked very well. We worked all the local lads here on 40 metres, and everybody entertained us on the way up. So it was quite good. Let me show you the first picture. This is actually not a Collins device, but this is something that I decided to get at the last moment. I mean, with all the ham fests that I've been to over the years, one of the things that I wanted to collect was the ACU system, the 101 lineup. But every now and then you'd see one of these sitting on a bench, and I'd look at it and I think, yeah, there's something interesting about it, but it's not drawing me in yet. And the problem is a lot of amateurs that put stuff on the table to hopefully sell don't do one iota to polish it up, to clean it, to remove the dust, to remove the fingerprints. They're selling as is. I mean, if you really want to sell a piece of equipment, you would clean it. You would just put a little bit of Mr. Sheen over it, and get a brush and get into the crevices and get all rid of that dust so it looks as new as you can possibly make it. And I've seen this particular Yaesu radio, an FT-DX 560, quite a few times, but not in very good appearance. And what I think what I like about it is the silver finish, but also the chrome style around the meter and the dial. But a lot of the chrome that I've seen on this sort of radio over the years has been corroded a little bit. Not that it can't be totally cleaned up and removed, but it's a bit corroded, and just tends to No, I just turned away. But this is a 400 watt radio. This thing uses two valves in the final, a 6 KD6, and that's designed. That's why it's called a 560. It's 560 watts input to the final stage. So when it's all said and done, it's basically a 400 watt SSB radio transceiver. But I got that. It was in good condition and it was working. He had it running on the bench, and I thought, yeah, how much do you want it? All right, the next wireless that I got is picked up is one of these fellas, an FL101. Now, for many years, I've had the receiver to this. This is just a transmitter. It goes in pairs. This is the transmitter and the receiver. I've got a picture of the receiver, but I can tell you that the receiver, it looks similar. It has the same coloured buttons scheme, whereas this has got an analog display. The receiver has a green digital display. But this is what you're seeing is the transmitter, and the receiver works together. They go hand in hand. I've had the receiver for years, and it's only just been recent that I've decided, I'll get one of these transmitters. So I asked Brenton if he had in the vast array of his shed. If he had a Final 101, and he did, so I snaffled one of those. The other thing that I had on a kind of a lay-by, this is now the Collins. This is a Collins linear amplifier, and I wanted to get a hold of one of these to go with my other transmitter and receiver combination Collins equipment, which you can see in the background behind me when I'm on camera, actually. So this PA, Brenton allowed me to pay it off. I didn't quite have the money at the time to get it out right, but he was quite happy for me to throw in the odd funds to pay it off, so to speak. He's pretty good like that. So that's a fairly decent, powerful amplifier, that one. The next piece of equipment that I picked up was one of these guys. This is yet another Collins, but this is actually a two-way, a transmitter receiver, a transceiver combination. So now Dennis VK3WV has got the next model down to this. Is very similar. It looks exactly the same. When I saw it in his shack, I thought I've got to have me one of these. So his is a KWM2, I think it wasn't it, Den? Mine's the KWM2A, which makes it just a little bit an slightly earlier model. What came with this unit were these two blokes, and that's an external VFO and a power meter, internal power meter, so that you can not only act as an external VFO, but you can monitor your power within it too. It's got a coupler on the inside of it and the external speaker. All up, this is what it looks like on a bench. Pretty neat, huh? I love Collins equipment. It's got that old look about it, and I mean, I love me valves. There's no doubt about the valves. It's all high voltage stuff. I get off on high voltage. So there it is. And I like the frequency counter. You can just see in the middle there. That's also a Collins frequency counter. Collins made a digital frequency counter at some stage, and that's a bit of a bonus. I didn't expect to be able to be picking up one of those. Now, the other thing that I decided to pick up while it happened to be there at the shed is this FT225RD, exclusively 2 meters, but it's got AM on it. Because I just love the AM mode. So this is a low-powered device. It's not a high-powered device, only a low-powered device, but it covers all of the 2 meter band, and as you can see, it's working fine. But I've got the 6 meter version of this. I've had the FT625RD for a long time. And I've been more or less after the 225RD to marry it up. So I've got 6 and 2 in the same exactly the same sort of style radio that Yaesu produced. So I've now got the 2 meter version. There was never a 77 meter version. It would have been nice, but there was only 6 and 2 ever made in this style. And they've got very sensitive receivers. And the other thing I like about these sorts of radios is that they're they're dedicated for the band that they operate on. They've got a decent front end. They've got a decent IF, and the out of band rejection from things like nearby pages is pages just non-existent. You don't get interference from that sort of out of band interference. And that's the same for this wireless. Where did I put it? There it is. Now, you've probably seen one of these radios over the years. This is pretty old. This is going back to the mid-70s. A Kenwood TR9000. And this was one of the very, very first 2-meter FM radios that I've got experience with. And again, the two reasons why I like this. It's designed for the 2-meter band, so it's RF amp stage, it's IF stage. The image rejection capabilities is absolutely perfect. It's a properly designed. It's not like these wideband handhelds and Watsons and everything that hangs off one chip these days. So but also the analog S meter. I mean, I'm a little bit over the digital meters. The analog meter is something it's very visual and in a sense, and you can see the minute changes in a signal. Let's say that. So I've currently got that on, and that's actually sitting on 147-400 at the moment. Just now I've plugged it in and wired it up and got an antenna on it. So when I called in, it was on that particular wireless. So that's my little net that I of equipment that I picked up on Sunday while a little trip up to Brenton's place, and if you're after any particular piece of equipment that for HF or he's got a vast range of CB sets. Now I'm not into CB. I've never been into CB. But he's got a vast range of CBs in his museum. But that's another thing. But if you're wondering if you're after a piece of second-hand equipment that's in the potentially good nick, give him a bit of a call and see what he's got in stock. Anyway, just thought I'd mention that. So there it is. I also, if I've got time, when Richard's closed the net down, I've got a little 19-minute. It just goes for 19 minutes. That's probably a bit too long, really, but it's a little bit of nostalgia, television nostalgia, going back to the early 80s. And one of the Perth television networks produced a tour of the TV station, and it was very interesting the way they kind of what the sorts of things that you see for that particular era of TV, and I wouldn't mind showing it to you. Anyway, but that's if I've got time to do that. So there it is. I think that's about all I've got to show and tell at this stage. So I'll be back on Friday night with the ASV radio broadcast that everybody just loves to promote on my behalf. Thank you very much, Lee. It's astronomy, not astrology. Good grief, Ian. And there's some suggestion that I might be hosting the ATV Net next Tuesday. We'll just see. But at this stage, I'll probably say yes. I'll run the host for next Tuesday. We'll see how we go with that. Anyway, on that note, back to you, Sir Richard, VK3VRS. It's your turn. Get ready for that on that button. This is VK3CSJ. Over and out.
thanks, Clint. That was good. I know Brenton, I see his ads all the time. He's very much, I think he does a lot of restoration of radios. He does barn finds and tries to find radios wherever he can and then restores them back to original. So anything that you get off him, you're pretty much guaranteed that it's going to be 100%. So just a last check to see if there's anybody who wants to have another go or would like to check in, even new, fresh. So a couple of minutes, tick, 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 tick. Just while we're waiting, I might just run a promo. Hang on.
Did you know that a video edition of the WIA news broadcast is screened here, VK3RTV Channel 1 by Clint VK3CSJ, every Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m, repeated Sunday evening at 8 p.m.
Oh dear. I stepped out of the spaceship to check the antenna, and I can't get back in, but I did happen to find something, and if you just look next to me, oh yes, look at that. Well, it's been a great night for the net, and all these people over here. I'd like to thank you a lot. I can see over there all your names, so thank you for the net, and look forward to Clinton hosting it next week. Anyway guys, that's it for me, and we'll see you all next week. I'll catch you on air during the course of the week, whatever we like to do. Alright, bye for now.
Okay. All right, I won't hog the channel much longer. I'll just run this little interesting nostalgia back to 1970s there. By the way, that of course, because I took a trip up to Tambangalanga on Sunday, I couldn't do the broadcast, so I originally asked Richard VK3VRS to do the WIA cast, but he was tied up in the morning, so Ian filled in for the Sunday morning session. Thanks Ian, and Richard ran it for the Sunday night. So thanks guys for being able to do that for us. I really appreciate that. We should be able to be back on deck for next Sunday at 10:30. Anyway, let's just run into this little program. You can see it's all queued up here on the screen. That's it, the old camera there. So let's go into this and be educated for the next 19 minutes. Oh dear.
Hello, I'm Peter Dean. Welcome to the Channel 7 studios. During our behind-the-scenes visit, we'll see the day-to-day operations and the technical equipment required to bring television entertainment into your own home. Come with me and I'll show you. I must warn you though, we start in quite an unusual location. This is TAA's Flight 2.